Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about what is going on with African parks, the non-profit organisation that Harry is associated with. I'm not sure if many of you know what is going on right now, but I just want to give a trigger warning for this video because it does talk about this subject, and again, unfortunately I can't say the word because YouTube flag this. So if you want to join me in this video where I look a little deeper into this and discuss what I feel is going on, then you should know what to do by now. And if you don't, grab your drink of choice and drop it in the comments what you are sitting back, relaxing with and enjoying this video today. If you would like to add a little something to that drink of choice, because as the flag says behind me, yes, you got it. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink of choice and let's dive right in. So excuse me for a second because if any of you have been following me, I am going through the menopause, and rather than just keep editing videos when I go through the signs, which is mainly the glowing that happens, I just let it happen, because at the end of the day it's part of life and it is what it is, and many of us women struggle with it. So Harry is in the news again, and there are calls for him to step down from being on the board of, because he was a president, I believe, of this non-profit organisation, African Parks, but he's now, I think, on the board of directors. So I've got my trusty notes here because with my lovely brain fog, I often forget things. I still manage to do so, and I want to thank everyone who in the comments corrected me with the fact that yes, Harry and Meghan have been to Jamaica before. I don't know why I forgot that, because of course she did actually get married in Jamaica with her allegedly second, possibly first husband, Trevor. So yeah. So a wildlife charity, which has Prince Harry as a board member, is investigating allegations of human rights abuse by its guards in the Republic of the Congo. I mean, when I read this, because this isn't the first time something has happened that's connected with this organisation, I found it so deeply upsetting that this happens, and it's not uncommon, unfortunately, in these types of places where they take vulnerable people and really hurt them, and they have an abuse of power. So it says African Parks said it was encouraging anyone with knowledge of any abuse to come forward, and said the investigation was its highest priority, and I really, really hope that it is. In addition to sitting on the board, Prince Harry is also a former president of the non-profit organisation, which manages 22 national parks and protected areas across 12 countries. Guards that were managed and paid by the charity have been engaged in the, and I'm going to write this up here, I'm not going to say it because it's triggering, and also because I'm not sure if YouTube will flag my content, because the censoring is just ridiculous. So this is what they've been accused of by the indigenous people in the rainforest of the Republic of the Congo, according to a report in the Mail on Sunday. So obviously the parks have said they've got a zero tolerance policy for this type of behaviour. A statement from the African Parks Board and Chief Executive said, African Parks has a zero tolerance policy for any form of abuse and is committed to upholding the rights of the local and indigenous people. We are aware of the serious allegations regarding human rights abuses by eco-guards against the local people living adjacent to, and I apologise if I say this wrong, the Odzala Kokoua National Park in the Republic of Congo, which have recently received media attention. We became aware of these allegations last year via a board member who received a letter from Survival International. We immediately launched an investigation through an external law firm based on the information we had available, while also urging Survival International to provide any and all facts that they had. It's unfortunate that they have chosen not to cooperate despite repeated requests. We continue to ask for their assistance. I find that rather odd. If they're the ones that have reached out and said, look, this is a serious, serious problem, this needs looking into, I'm not sure why they would then not help. I'm not really understanding that. I feel like there's probably more to that. Don't know. This is an active, ongoing investigation that is our highest priority as an organisation, and we encourage anyone with knowledge of any abuse to report them to us or the Congolese law enforcement authorities, which will investigate and assist and ensure that the perpetrators of any abuses are brought to justice. Now, a spokesman for Prince Harry's foundation, Archewell, said, when the Duke became aware of these serious allegations, he immediately escalated them to the CEO and chairman of the Board of African Parks, the appropriate people to handle next steps. Now, it goes on to say that Survival International wrote a letter to Prince Harry last May about violent intimidation and torture that had taken place, including this of a young mother by a guard. So the man in question, it says the man was dismissed, jailed, and ordered to pay his victim $1,300 in compensation. She claims she has only received about $500. Yesterday, African Park said, again, it has zero tolerance policy for any form of abuse and is committing to upholding the rights of local and Indigenous people. The charity also accused Survival International of refusing to cooperate with inquiries. The organisation responded by pointing out that it has been raising concerns since 2013. I wonder if the charity is actually trying to throw Survival International under the bus, because if they've been trying to raise concerns since 2013, which is 11 years, I do not believe that they would then go, you know what, we're not going to bother helping now. Colonel Theodore Gollo, a former army officer who spent almost 2 years as the area's top government official, said, there are a lot of problems with the guards. This is not obviously the first time there has been something like this connected. Again, like I've said, this is not uncommon where people in power abuse that power to take advantage of vulnerable people. We see this everywhere in the world. Should it happen? Absolutely not. And does it? Yes, it does. But I find the fact that this is connected to Prince Harry, in the fact that he is connected to this charity, and the fact that he's known about this since May last year. So you're talking about, what, 9 months of knowing? And he's not made an official statement. He has not put his weight or his power behind getting this sorted. He's raised a concern. He's raised a concern. That's it. You know, a man or two people that are so all about self-empowerment, all about helping the underdog, allegedly, and yet he hasn't stepped down. A huge statement would have been that I am stepping down. I cannot associate myself with an organisation that believes that this type of behaviour is okay, or the fact that nothing is being really done, and the fact this poor woman, I mean, no amount of money, in my opinion, will ever compensate for going through something so horrendous which changes your life. I feel so angry because I have worked with clients who have gone through things along these lines, and you are never the same again. of course you can work through things. But people like this in these type of countries, they don't have access. Now, you've got... Oh, I need to just stop for a minute because I'm getting myself angry. You have Harry, who is connected to a company called Better Up. Now, again, I have my thoughts and feelings on this company. But why not get together with places like that and put in support and help for people in these countries who do not have access to therapy, who do not have access to anyone that can help them with working through and healing from such a traumatic event that happens in their life. You could literally, with the power and the tools that you have, the pair of them, they could say, you know what? There are plenty of people in the Western world or people that have money that have got access to therapy, have got access to any kind of support that can help them if they have gone through something like this. It is so common in these places. Why not get together with Better Up and say, you know what, let's form an organisation that can have people go out there and work with these people for nothing to help them in the best way they possibly can. I've raised a complaint or concern, and it's clearly gone nowhere. And this poor woman, she was only supposed to get 1,300 with Harry with all of his millions, and she gets 500. I mean, like I say, no amount of money is gonna make up for what she's gone through. And this guy, what did he get? He got put in jail, but it doesn't say for how long for. But I probably imagine it's not for long. This is where my job, in what I do, I have to really, really try to not let my emotions get the better of me. You know, I know that as one person, you can't save the world. Of course, I know that. But with Harry and his connections, and Meghan now with some of the connections that she's created in marrying into the royal family, you could do something. Not just write an email and say, oh, I'm just raising a complaint here because, this has been brought to my attention. Make a big statement and say, I'm stepping down. I cannot be associated with this. But he's known about this since May and done nothing. And what angers me more is I am sick and tired of the cult squad who make constant excuses. Oh, it's got nothing to do with Harry. But you can bet that if Prince William was associated, or Catherine, or any other member of the royal family were associated with an organisation that was accused of this or being connected with this, we'd never hear the last of it. We'd never hear the last of it. But Saint Meghan and Saint Harry can do no wrong. And this is why it is a cult, because they just literally have blinkers on. It doesn't matter what is put in front of them. They will still twist it and manipulate the whole situation to be like, oh no, it's not really connected to them. It's disgusting. Disgusting. You know, I don't really have... I say I don't really have the words. I do have the words. I just can't put them up on here of what I feel. I feel so frustrated that he just is so blinkered or selfish even. I'm not even going to say blinkered, actually. He's selfish. He is a selfish, self-centered man-child who associates himself with things and people that will give him more money or column inches in the media, but something that actually does good in, you know what, I'm going to fight for these people. I'm going to use whatever connections I have, even if it's getting in touch with my own family. I will put all of my stuff to one side to say, come on, what can we do about this? I am going to step down. I am not going to be on the board of directors or whatever it is. You know, for those two who are so good at putting out statements when it's selfishly about them, you know, you could put out something and say that I'm outraged about this. The fact that he's known about this since May and he's still continued to be associated with them. I feel like, you know, sometimes I feel like, what are we doing this for? Is it, you know, are things going to ever change? You know, it angers me so much that, you know, that vulnerable men, women and children are put in situations where they're supposed to help and they abuse that. I mean, we have it over here. Let's be honest now. It's not just exclusively to places like this, although that it's awful, because in some ways over here, when it happens to some degree, there's places that can help. When I read about things like this, when you have somebody that is really high up, that has got the means to do something about this, to create positive change, and all he's done is raised a concern, and he's known about it since May and said nothing. Oh, you know, now, and a spokesperson has, you know, a spokesperson for Harry. What about Harry saying something? You're quite capable of putting things out. Why don't you put something out? Use your Archewell website for actually doing some good in the world, or rather than just taking people's money. You know, and it's not the first time anything attached to Harry has been called into question. You know, we had, a charity founded by the Duke of Sussex was denied there was any impropriety involved when it accepted donations from a Saudi Arabian billionaire 7 years ago. And apparently it was kind of like, I'll donate, but you give me access to your brother. And this is to do with Sensible. A spokesperson for the children's charity Sensible said it is entirely normal and legitimate for patrons to meet potential donors. Funny how those potential donors are only the ones that seem to have a huge amount of money, they get the special treatment. So the Children and Young People's Charity Sensible, who was founded by Prince Harry and Prince SEOW of I can't even pronounce that, but it's in 2006. Reports in the Sunday Times allege that Prince Harry agreed to see Mahfouz Marbarak. Oh, honestly, I'm really sorry because I can't pronounce the names and I don't want to do it in injustice. This has happened in 2013 after he made a donation of $50,000 to the charity. The newspaper claimed they met more than once to discuss the work of Sensible, and the meetings were to open the door for access to the Prince of Wales. Apparently this was denied by the Duke of Sussex. Of course it was. In a statement, the Duke claimed he severed ties with this person in 2015 and had expressed concerns about the motives of the donor. Well, it's funny how he seems to sever ties when it's been brought into the public. You know, this Prince Harry is so underhand and shady, and I'm surprised that things haven't come out before. Well, I'm guessing because he was protected. The Office of the Scottish Charity Regulator contacted Prince Charles' charity, the Prince's Foundation, in September following allegations that the charity's chief executive helped secure an honour for this particular person. And then suddenly this Michael Fawcett resigned as chief executive of the foundation last month after temporarily stepping down when the claims were first made, because apparently he was the one that was kind of doing it all. But I wonder if he was the fall guy, because it was almost made to seem that he was the one that had kind of set all this up, and suddenly he steps down. And I wonder if he was a fall guy because it was suddenly being made public. You know, he was meeting with Prince Harry, and then all of a sudden this guy gets named. Honestly, Harry is he's all about the money. And then in 2021, Harry and Meghan were accused of mismanaging donations from their now defunct MWX Foundation. The allegations related to $145,000, which is $205,000, given by Prince William and Princess Catherine Royal Foundation to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Sussex, now defunct Sussex Royal Foundation in 2019. A further £151,855 was given by the Royal Foundation to Sussex Royal and later transferred to Harry's eco-tourism venture Travellist. I believe that was when I think Sussex Royal was being shut down. Although cleared, however, its report reserved some criticism for Harry and Meghan's charity, which was then renamed MWX Foundation from Sussex Royal, noting almost half its funds were spent on administrative and legal fees. It also found that decisions on spending were not adequately documented. And then in July 2020, trustees decided to wind up the foundation. And now they have Archewell, which was established in October 2020 and registered in Delaware. Funny that. Delaware laws allow foundations to have just one director instead of 3. There's flexible governance and structuring of the organisation. Delaware does not require naming corporate officers. It does not require fees for any state government approvals, such as amendments and dissolutions. There is no corporate income tax from Delaware if you do business in another state. Delaware allows 95% to go to the expenses with 5% to the charity, whereas California is around 60% and the UK is around 80% above and or more. So if this doesn't show you, in all fairness, how shady these two are, where they've set up an organisation. So what I believe probably was happening was that they were getting picked. They realised that when they set up their Sussex Royal and then the MWX, and I'm sure there's more to this, I just don't have the knowledge. I'm just going by what I feel, and I know that other YouTubers have delved into this a little bit more. But what I believe is happening is the fact that these two wanted to do this. They wanted to set up an organisation which would fund their lifestyle in a sense, but they couldn't do that in the UK because of the fact that 80% plus goes towards the charities. So they would get left with very minimal. So they started then scouring and was like, okay, let's find somewhere, which I'm sure other well-known people place that they go to, and that is Delaware, where 95% can go to them as long as they put it as expenses, and 5% go to the charity. So as long as they give out a little minimal, I think each year they've got to give out at least 5% of what has come in. The rest of it they can put down to expenses, and that could be literally to anything. To be fair, it can be galas, banquets, community fundraisers, meetings at restaurants or businesses. Even if you're saying that you're working from home, it can, even the rent that goes to renting a property can be as an expense. Which is why I also believe that this mansion that they so-called purchased was classed as an expense for their business, but to me, I what I've noticed as well is the fact that their funds are very, very low. They have lost a horrendous amount of money. People are not donating like they were. So everything that these two put their hand to has some shady connotation. So going back to what I was talking about originally, is it any wonder really, if we're going to sit back and be honest, are we that surprised that Harry has not stood up for these people, has not said, you know what, I'm making a big statement here and I'm saying I'm stepping down? Because in all fairness, Harry doesn't care. I genuinely believe he doesn't care. As long as he's got money coming in, he doesn't care. If he did, then he would have made this very public when it first came to his attention. And like this company has said, Survival International said they have been trying to get their attention since 2013. That is 11 years they have been trying. And then funnily enough, all of a sudden, now this company, because it's now being made public because of the Daily Mail, suddenly, oh, well, we've been trying to get them to help us and they're not helping us. I would say it's probably the other way round. I would say the fact that Survival International have been banging on their door trying to get them to take some notice. And oh, now they're taking notice. Now we have a statement from Harry's spokesperson. Well, I'm sorry, it's a little too late because it should have been sorted when, well, firstly, this should have been done, and so this never happened to this poor woman who suffered this, and apparently it happened in front of her children. These two get me down. They really, really do. I'm so sick and tired of the fact that they are, I feel, monsters masked as humans almost. You know, the fact that they pretend to do good, pretend to care, and they really don't. They just care about themselves. You know, this should never have happened in the first place. Any organisation, there should be real strict ways to stop this from happening. The fact that this is going on still is just disgusting, and then to have other people abused even when it happened. I mean, why was it, you know, in some ways you can maybe think, okay, we didn't know this was going to happen, but as soon as this happened with this first lady, and this horrendous thing happened, they should have made sure that she was okay. They should have made sure that she was helped in whatever form she needed. And then they should have put in really tight restrictions and gone, you know, taken their guards for empathy training or whatever it is. They should have done something, but they clearly didn't, because it's still going on. And Harry just raised a concern. Oh, well, I have many concerns. I'm raising many concerns about Harry, because in all fairness, when you've got somebody who has openly talked about women in such a derogatory way, he probably doesn't actually even care that these things are happening. He doesn't care about people. You know, step down, Harry. Do something good. For once in your life, do something good with your platform that you have, you and Meghan. And fight for these people, because nobody else is fighting for them. Stop pretending to be do-gooders. Stop pretending to be people that care. Either be open and honest with who you are, or sort yourself out and change so you do start caring about people, because I think this is just disgusting. You know, the fact that you, like I say, you've got these two that have created Archewell in Delaware so they can keep 95% of any donations. That should tell you exactly the type of person that they are, because they could use their platform and give 100% if they chose to. You know, they have other money that they could have other money coming in if they did good, and they could create a charity, an organisation that literally raised funds and gave 100% to the charities that they look after. But no, 5%. And that's all they've got to give. So like I've said, Archewell is funding their lifestyle. I think they truly believed that they were going to get some huge donations and they could live from that. But what they're now realising is that people are not interested. And it also shows as well how much the Cult Squad do not really give them anything, because obviously they don't donate to their silly little Archewell fund. But I think, you know, outside of the two big donors, I think it was something like 300 and something thousand, which is probably not even going to cover 1 month's rent on wherever they're staying. So, yeah, they're in trouble. And good, because this is now, like I say, the consequences of what you've done. But like I say, Harry needs to step down, and it's becoming public. There are cries for him to step down, but you know, deafening silence as always, because he doesn't care. Neither of them do. They just pretend. So, you know, give me your thoughts on this. What do you think? I mean, I'm sure there are things that I don't know, because like I've said before, it's really hard for me to take the time to do extensive research. I try to do as much as possible, but I'm just one person, and with working and everything, I just don't have the time or the energy at the moment. I'm very tired, So, you know, if anyone, and I will say this, if you guys, please feel free to send me any information. If you find something that's credible, and I will say it has to be credible, because as much as I put things up here, it has to be, like I've said before, it has to be something that I believe to be true, or it's factually true. Like, you know, I've spoken about the children because that's because I have eyes and I can see for myself. And I've done my own research into that. Now, people have said that when it come to Jamaica, that Meghan was apparently there prior to Harry seeing some man. I have seen no evidence of this. And as much as I appreciate that some people say, well, other YouTubers that have said this to be true, again, I haven't seen any evidence of this. And because I've only seen it being said third party, I'm less inclined to believe something to be true. I'm not saying it isn't true, but I have to be very careful because I'm trying to keep a channel as integral as possible. So I have to filter through what could be gossip. Is it something that she would do? Absolutely, more than likely. But again, because I haven't seen it, and I haven't, I don't know if I believe it. I really don't. But anyway, so if you have evidence of things, because I don't always have access, then please send them to me via my email. I would be very grateful for anyone. If you're willing to do a little bit of research, then that would be great. Obviously, it's not necessary, but you know, I'm always open to receiving information from people, and then I can look into that myself. And if it's credible, I will always say that I got this information from somebody. You know, if you want to be named, that's okay. If you don't, I never take credit for if somebody sends me some information. But yeah, so don't forget to give this a thumbs up. You know, I do see that I get quite a bit of views on the channel, but not so many people like the videos. Well, it could be that they don't like them, so there's always that. But if you like this video, then please don't forget to hit the like button, because it really does help the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed and you don't want to miss future uploads, then please also think about doing so. And if you have enjoyed this video and you've got something from this, then, you know, if you would like to treat me to a cuppa, the link is in the description box below, but it's also just above, I believe, the subscribe button. There's a little yellow icon with a cup on it, and you can just click on that and it takes you straight there. You can become a member if you so choose. Again, it's not obligatory, but you can. It's $2.99 a month. That's pounds. I think it's obviously a little bit more in dollars, but you can. And you get your name on the member board, and you also get put into my giveaways. I have a PO box, so for people that, like, say, email me and say, where can I send you something, or I'd like to write to you, there is a PO box in my description box, and it's also in the bio of the main page of my YouTube channel. So you can write to me via the PO box or send me something if you so choose. You can buy my bubble merchandise. I will be changing this. I keep saying it, but I will be. So I'll be changing things because I think it's still up there as tea and therapy. So I will be going in at some point when I have a free minute to change all of that. So some of the things that are up there now, they will be going and no longer available. So if you want to go in and get your bubble mug with tea with M's or whatever it is, and you want to go and do that now, then go ahead and do that. Yeah. Oh, and that's the other perk as well. If you're a member, I'm going to go in as well, and I'm going to be doing a discount code for members. So you can have a discount. So all members will get a discount code when I've sorted that for, yeah, but you have to email me to let me know that you're a member. And obviously I will then email you back with the discount code. So yeah. I'm going to be covering the next video that I do on them on the timeline is going to be the Australian tour. So don't forget to click all on your subscribe button so you do not miss out on that. Yeah. So in the meantime, take care of yourself, and I will, like I say, see you in the next video. And as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. So take care. Bye-bye.